Well, hello YouTube, it's me, Fortmaster, and welcome back to another Gaming University reaction, and man, I'm sorry for any of you, waiting for the next one. I'm sorry it took so long for me to get to this next one. But yeah, this is the next video in the Psychology of Psychonauts series about Black Velveeta. And thinking about it, man, I don't actually remember that much about the level. I mean, it wasn't one of my favorites, so I haven't really gone back to look at stuff about it, but I remember it taking me a lot longer than it probably should have because I kept, jumping up and stuff, trying to find more collectibles than there actually were, because there was a fair amount of verticality in that level for, how it was designed. And then there was a whole bull thing where, you'd get sent back to the very beginning if you were standing on, like, one of the pathways when the bull ran by, like, oh, man, that was just horrible right there. But then there was, if I remember correctly, again, because I'm having trouble remembering much about what actually happened in the level. I mean, of course he had, like, anger management issues, but it turned out that he remembered himself being bullied, but he was actually the bully himself, I think? Yeah, I honestly don't remember that much about this level, so, yeah, this is going to be a good chance to, learn more about it then, I guess. So, yeah, of course, as always, original videos linked in the description if you haven't seen it yet for some reason. Corner video will lead to my Let's Play of the day, because over 3/4 of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed, and I'd very much like that to change, because my main goal for this year is to hopefully hit 10,000 subscribers, or, get as close to it as possible. But yeah, with all that out of the way, let's get this thing started then, shall we?
During our trek through Thorny Towers, our goal has been to make it to the top of the structure. With our path blocked by a former patient turned orderly, we have some items to collect. Gloria gave us her old trophy to mimic a claw.
Yeah.
Fred gave us his straitjacket to replicate the doctor's coat. All we need now is a new face, one that will trick the dim-sighted Crispin into believing we are Dr. Lobato. Luckily, a painter is right upstairs who is working on just what we need. Edgar Teagley is the final patient here, but he is having periodic bursts of violent rage whenever working on a new painting.
Every time it is the same. The matador, the bull, how I despise you both. But my hands won't let you go.
If Rasputin is to get a finished version, we will have to get to the bottom of what is causing his compulsion of painting the bull and the matador.
Which is thinking about it, I mean, granted, I'm pretty certain that, that's the whole thing, this world doesn't really make that much sense in some cases when you look at it. But, like, again, Thorny Tower has been out of business for, I don't know how many years, and with only, like, 3 people left inside, and then you have Dr. Lobato moved in, and kind of, took over. But where are they getting supplies? Like, I could understand, they're on an island, so maybe they have a well and stuff like that for water and stuff. And, I'd imagine probably, you have Coach Oleander bringing them food and stuff like that. But where is he getting all the painting supplies from? Is that another thing that Coach Oleander is bringing in?
Cue the Psy Portal. Let's head inside what is probably the most vibrant world in the game, Black Velvetopia. Raz finds Edgar Teagley building a card castle in order to rescue his love, Lampita Passionado. Each time he tries to make it higher, a rampaging bull crashes through, making him start from scratch. This level's structure is simple: tame the bull. Doing so will require a great deal more work, though. The 4 queens for the card castle are missing and guarded by luchadors. After this initial conversation, the bull crashes into Raz and carries him into a back alley where an anthropomorphic dog is working on a painting.
God, wait, I completely forgot. This was also the level that had that really, really stupid victory dance that Raz did whenever he beat one of the wrestlers. Oh, God, right.
As you can see, there are a lot of moving parts in this place. The art style of Edgar's mind is taken from Edgar Letigue, known as the father of Black Velvet. The dogs and cards are from a famous painting showing a group of dogs playing poker.
Yep.
Before getting into the analysis, it is important to go over the story here and how it ties into the level design. The main area depicts a cramped series of city streets taken right from Pamplona, Spain. The bull has full reign to rampage in this place and represents his current condition. High above the streets is a secret garden that Edgar keeps. The first mental vault is found here. It depicts how he met his high school sweetheart, Lana Penzoni.
I don't I don't remember much about the level, but I don't remember a garden. Did I come across this garden? Huh. Again, this is one of those things that I missed.
We see their relationship blossom and conclude with the exchange of a rose and a moonlight kiss. This area shows memories and thoughts he is at peace with, things that are worth watering in his garden.
Though, I mean, I only just realized, maybe it's because, the whole neon style of the Black Velvet world. Why is the water red and blood? It looks like blood.
However, below the city streets are sewers flooded by red paint. This area is designed after the school, complete with showers, a gymnasium, and figments of students running around. The second vault is found and called Edgar's Lament. Beginning where we left off, we see Edgar, the captain of the wrestling team, and the cheerleader Lana at a dance. Edgar managed to get his team to the state semifinals when Lana began to have eyes for Dean LeGrand, the head of her cheerleading squad. Just before the semifinals, Lana broke up with Edgar to be with Dean. This destroyed his spirit, causing him to lose the match. As a result, his former teammates and the rest of the school turned on him, leading to a severe depression. The sewers can be interpreted as Edgar's painful memories that he repressed, pushed down below the city streets and out of sight.
Yep.
The comparison between the street and the sewers will have another comparison which will be discussed shortly. The last main area of the level is the central room where he builds his card castle. In order to run away from the voices on all sides, he found refuge in the art room. This area is his mental version of this safe haven, a place to hide away from all those who torment him. His coping mechanism became intrinsically tied to painting, and in a sense, he became a prisoner of art. One visual representation of this is the red paint flowing through the world.
It's just everywhere.
Down in the repressed sewers, the floor is flooded. If we presume the water represents his memories of high school, the design is easier to understand. 2 fountains can be found that allow this water to burst forth into the city. One in the starting alley and one in his secret garden. The second time we see it is in the art room. A river flows from 2 masks that are stand-ins for the other wrestlers and a painting of the bull. These streams connect and form a circle around Edgar's safe place, creating an island where he is trapped on all sides by his high school memories.
I still... I know, later on it's revealed that he himself is the bull and stuff like that, but I'm thinking back, I am upset with myself for not, figuring that out, given that, the bull literally has his face.
Over time, he developed additional maladaptive coping mechanisms. Edgar's 2 primary issues involve confabulation and obsessive-compulsive disorder.
Confabulation? That's a $2 word right there. What? Man, what does that mean? I mean, he'll probably say it, but just in case. Huh, okay, yeah, that's where okay.
Or OCD. Before discussing these, we need to look at 2 of the dogs, the Collie and the Dalmatian.
Years ago, when Edgar was a world-renowned painter, he was commissioned by Dingo to immortalize him in black velvet. But while he was sitting for the portrait, Dingo met Edgar's beautiful wife, who was none other than the top flamenco dancer, Lampita Passionado. He seduced the dancer, and the 2 ran off together, leaving Edgar with the unfinished painting and a broken heart. Since then, Edgar thinks of nothing but the treacherous pair, and since then, our streets have been ruled by El Odio.
If you were confused by this story, don't worry. This event is 100% false.
Yeah, okay.
This Collie expresses a fabricated version of his life history. This brings us to confabulation.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Sometimes defined as an error in recollection where the individual may unconsciously fabricate, misinterpret, or distort their own memories. Please note that this is usually as a result of a neuropsychiatric disorder, brain injury, or substance abuse. Edgar has invented a romanticized fantasy to replace those of his high school days. Every player in his past takes on an archetypal role.
Yeah, like
Instead of being a high school wrestler who was dumped, He was a famous painter. The cheerleader in his fantasy became a renowned flamenco dancer. And his love was seduced away by a bullfighter.
You know, all this, like, I don't know how it is in Europe, but I'm fairly certain, you know, cheerleaders and stuff like that are very much, you know, a North American and more likely an American thing. Like, I don't think I've ever really ever seen, you know, cheerleaders be a European thing. So at this point, I'm almost beginning to wonder, is he even Spanish? Like, or was this whole, like, was the whole Spanish thing, like, just a facade he crafted for himself as, like, a false identity in his own mind?
In this altered recollection, Lampita is cast as a victim, and Edgar must rescue her from this villain. The Dalmatian, however, remembers the true version of events.
Edgar's girlfriend, Lana Panzoni, dumped him after the first period for Dean LeGrant, the head of her cheerleading squad. Techley was worthless after that. The other team just tossed him around the rest of the day like a half sack of pork rinds.
I wonder if the species of dog has any meaning to it. Because, like, Collie and Dalmatian, I know they're very different dogs. I mean, like, from what little I know Dalmatians are, like, very protective of, like, family. So maybe that could be like a visualization or like a metaphor for, like, the Dalmatian is the one dog, like, protecting what is real, what is true, you know, the family, the real memories, you know, stuff like that.
Oh, man. His squad hated him after that. The whole school did.
How sad. Especially since it all happened to him again with Dingo and Lampita.
Oh, right. Yeah, they exist. Not made up at all, those two. Sheesh.
While confabulation is a diagnosable memory disorder, willfully misremembering something is a common thing. This can be done for several reasons, such as to justify one's actions or to cope with a bad situation. Known as rationalization, this is when behaviors or feelings are justified and explained in a seemingly rational or logical manner in order to avoid a true explanation. One example can be seen in one of Aesop's fables. A fox tries to jump towards a vine to eat some grapes. However, they are too high and out of reach. Eventually, the fox gives up and tells himself they are probably just sour grapes and he doesn't really want them anyways. The fox here lied to himself to avoid the truth that he was incapable of jumping high enough to get the meal. In Edgar's case, he did it as a coping mechanism. Lana did not break up with him. She was stolen from him by another. By disregarding the truth of the situation, his primary condition began to develop. The bull's name is El Odio and translates to hatred, an anger that developed from not only this breakup, but the events that came after. His failure at the state semifinals caused his former friends in the wrestling team to treat him cruelly. Upon returning back, the entire school harassed him as well. Losing Lana was the catalyst which knocked down his entire house of cards, eroding any form of happiness in his life.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, like, I'm not gonna lie, you know, he's very much in the wrong here and being kind of very creepy in some instances with the false memories and stuff like that. But at the same time, you also gotta, like, put even just a little bit of the blame on her. Because, you know, it doesn't matter who you are or what side you're on. A breakup is always, you know, it's always, you know, difficult on both people. Unless there was, like, massively, like, unless it was, like, a really bad relationship. Given that this was in high school, but, you know, given that this was in high school, you know, people's heads aren't fully developed yet. But just the idea that, you know, she knew that she was dating, like, one of the, like, top athletes in the school, where, with the competition just, like, literally, like, around the corner. You'd think that if she had it in her mind that she was going to end the relationship because she wasn't happy in it, or, you know, again, you know, she saw somebody she liked more, you'd think she might have, you know, just for the sake of, you know, the school, or, like, just for winning you'd hope that just for the sake of, you know, the school winning a competition, she would have just held off until maybe, like, the day after, or maybe the end of the day, who knows? I mean, if she had just waited a couple of hours at the very least, all of this probably could have been, you know, it could have just been bypassed and not would have happened.
He convinced himself that since she was the origin point, by reclaiming her, he would regain his lost happiness.
Yeah.
In psychology, the definition of obsession is the inability of a person to stop thinking about a particular topic or feeling a certain emotion without a high amount of anxiety. Lana, Dean, and the wrestling team became the objects of his obsessions. They have become prisoners within his head that Edgar cannot let go of. After all, what is an obsession but the occupants of our mental prison, locked away because we cannot let them go? Conversely, another definition of an obsession is the individual's attempt to ignore or suppress thoughts, urges, or images, or to neutralize them with some other thought or action. This is exactly what Edgar does. He directs his focus towards art and suppresses these thoughts. All of these have been pushed down beneath the surface of the city streets. Below ground is the sewer, the contents of his repressed memories. His confabulated reality was built upon this and became the city streets where El Odio rampages. While he may have repressed it, the horned hatred inside of him still impedes his ability to move forward. Edgar's reason for being in Thorny Towers is as a result of his inability to escape the bull and the matador. He cannot stop himself from drawing them, seemingly without conscious thought. Compulsions can be defined as the rule-based behaviors one is driven to perform in response to an obsession.
Just like thinking back, like I remember, wait, actually was it? I can't remember, because I remember, the matador and the, and whatever her name was, I'm forgetting right now. Like, I know, like, at the end, like, they sound quote-unquote normal, like, like teenager, high schoolers. I forget, like, did they sound like that when they first meet them, or did they have, like, the Spanish act and, like, their real selves are only revealed once you find out who the bull actually is? Huh.
Even if it is irrational and goes against their conscious will. The bull symbolizes his hatred of the people he knew in high school. The matador serves two purposes. They attempt to control the bull, but at the same time enrage it further. His compulsion may show his desire to keep his anger under control, but it became a self-perpetuating cycle. By repressing it, he made El Odio more dangerous. This is true with most repressed emotions, as discussed in Sasha's shooting gallery. With the groundwork laid in Black Velvetopia, it is time for Rasputin to enter and work his magic. Luckily, Edgar has gotten the process started. Art therapy is a known treatment for those suffering from OCD.
Okay.
One, because the contents of the art can help define the source of the obsession or compulsion, such as the bull and the matador in his work. The second reason is because it can act as a form of immersion therapy. An OCD patient who is terrified of germs might not walk into a filthy restroom. However, by having them paint a dirty bathroom, a similar effect can be achieved. Edgar must go through a similar process and confront the figures of his past. As mentioned, the 4 queens for the card castle are missing and are guarded by 4 luchadors.
Oh god, I mean, I love the first Psychonauts still, but like, just like the age and the slight jankiness of it can just be seen here and there, and like the whole thing, we have like the wrestler just got walking down almost a 90-degree cliff, just like completely straight and normally. Oh god, this is so beautiful.
These are mental versions of Edgar's wrestling team, the one who turned their backs on him. Everyone is themed after an animal, all of which appear on Edgar's jacket. It appears that the entire team took on animal personas. The bull was Edgar's character, so it seems fitting that it appears as one of his inner constructs. Each time Raz defeats a luchador, he receives a queen card. In doing so, he helps Edgar confront them. Once done, they appear inside of his secret garden, a sign he is at peace with them.
Oh god, that again was one thing. Those things I don't think I ever found the secret garden in my playthrough. So I never discovered you actually saw these guys afterwards. Oh.
With all 4 queens, the card castle is complete, and Edgar is ready for his final confrontation. That is between Lana Penzoni, Dean LeGrant, and most importantly, his own rage. Upon entering the arena, it becomes apparent that the confabulated version of Lana is not being held by the Matador, but in fact a prisoner of Edgar himself. By the end of the battle, Edgar finally has a moment of clarity.
Please. Edgar, look at them. They're too pathetic to hurt you anymore. Can't you just let it go?
How embarrassing. I can't believe I was hung up for so long over these losers.
I always
Just pull the lever, cronk, clunk.
In a symbolic sense, the memory of these two is finally released from the obsessive prison as he basically tells them to go to hell. Now that the source of his obsession is released from the mental prison and discarded, his compulsion no longer controls him. With this trial behind him, Edgar can finally move on with his life. The first step involves finishing a painting of Dr. Lobato so that Rasputin can ascend into the upper floors of Thorny Towers.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please drop a like.
Oh, God. Honestly, again, I really do love these videos, and I need to pick up the pace on them, but I know they don't do as well as the rest of my the other reactions I do, so I have to kind of do them out sparingly. It sucks, but what are you going to do? That's YouTube. But again, this is exactly the reason why I watch these videos. Like, I had no idea, you know, the secret garden even existed. Like, actually think about it. Maybe I should go back and, like, just play, you know, Psychonauts 1 just in my playtime, free time, just to, you know, try to 100% it. Because, again, that's one of those things, like, I'm a little upset there's no, like, after game where you can, like, finish all collectibles. You have to do that before you finish the game, and I wish I had known that before then. But, yeah, that's definitely going to be it for now. So, yeah. I hope you guys liked. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.